Hello everyone, this is Christian Meldex at Tine Interactive, and in this video we're going to focus on two different areas. The first one, very simply, we want to add a little bit of better styling to our app, so we'll style the top bar there, our app bar, we'll style the main navigation, and we'll also style the buttons so that depending on which view you're looking at, the appropriate button will be highlighted, basically by changing the background and the color. Once that's done, we'll also implement the ability to remove an account from our store. So we have now the ability to delete accounts and add accounts. Those are the things that we'll take care of in this video. So let's go ahead and get started here. So the first thing we're going to do is go into a file that I have that's called _variables, and of course it just contains some variables. We're going to add a couple to it here for some color choices. I'm going to call it app bar colors, and in there we're going to define the app bar background color. That's going to be a function call here. I'll show you here in a second, just a little bit. Not sure whether I've shown it before. Darken 3, and we want to also define app bar color, so the foreground color basically, and it's light gray. Alright, so to give us, got my semicolon, switching back and forth. Save that. So I have this colors function here, or file here, that has a function in it for creating a color swatch. So I give it a color, it creates a swatch from it by lighten, darken, changing some saturation. I can use a function to get a color from the swatch, which is what you just saw, and I've already defined a few of them for blue, gray, green, blah blah blah, so you can see all that. And now we can close that, so we're good there. So let's go to the app bar view. So in the app bar view here now, we're going to need to import those variables that we were just talking about. And we're going to use them then to say that the background color should be the app bar background color that we just defined. And we'll say color is app bar color. So if I save that, we'll see that the app bar, the background and foreground of that, it's actually changed. So our angle left is the back button. So let's go ahead and change its background color. We're just going to make it transparent. And then its color, of course, is just app bar color. Save that. So that takes care of the back button. So we can bring up our app bar settings here, and cog is the one that we need to do basically the same thing. Let me just cheat and grab the background and color options, put it on the cog, and now our cog is doing the right stuff, the same as the back button, so that's working. And next thing up, let's do a little bit of work for our main nav area down there. So as far as the main nav itself, we're going to make a simple change. Just want to add a little bit of a border to it. So import /variables. Variables. So we have our main nav here. Let's give it a border top 1 pixel solid, and I've defined a gray color in there. So now we have a border at the top of our main nav. Next up, we're going to do a little bit more than just styling for our buttons themselves, because I want to differentiate which button is active versus the others. So we're going to do that by coming up to our template up here. So with our button, we're going to say v-bind class. So we're going to bind a class to it, CSS class to it. class that we're going to use is just active. It'll be added to if isActive is true. So we need to come down here and we'll have our private isActive equals false to start with. We're going to bring in the lifecycle created method here, and we'll say this dot isActive is equal to await this dot routing service dot is current route. So we'll check to see if this route is the current route. If it is, isActive is true, otherwise false. Now we need to update isActive, if the user navigates somewhere. So this dot routing service dot navigation stream, we'll say subscribe to that, and this dot set active method that we need to define. So private isActive, and or not isActive, set active, and what's going to be passed to that is the route that we're navigating to, or the enum for it. So this dot isActive is going to be this dot route if that equals the route that's passed in. All right, so to see anything though, we're going to have to do some styling down here. So let's import, same deal that I was doing before, colors, and import variables. Perfect. So our button itself will do the same thing that we did previously. Background color we'll set to transparent. Color will be what did I made them, I guess, dark gray. Dark gray. We're going to need, oops, not that one, hover, and one day you'll learn hover and focus. So on hover and focus, we're going to set the color to lighten, and we're going to lighten the bar background color by 25%. Excuse me. So I noticed something when I was doing other work here, is that if you hover over the button, we get the cursor going to a pointer, that's fine, but if you get to the label, it goes back to the arrow. I want that to be the pointer everywhere, so on our label, cursor, pointer. And now we can deal with the active, so dot active. So active, we're going to set the background color to the app bar background color, and the color itself to app bar color. We're not going to be able to navigate to that page because we disabled the ability to navigate to the view that you're already on. So let's just set the cursor to initial. Steal this hover and focus up here, down here, except that we're going to make the color to be the app bar color. Perfect. And one thing we want to do then is to go into the label and set the cursor back initial and save. Cross our fingers. So everything seems to be updated correctly. We're now not on the accounts view. There we go. All right, so we start off, we're on home. We click on the accounts, and now we've broken something. What have we broken? Why do stuff? Apparently my mouse is going out or something, and clicking just doesn't work. So now we're on the accounts. We hit the back button, we're back at home, accounts, home. So everything seems to be working correctly. So if we focus, yeah, we get the hover, works fine. Focus works as well. Okay. So I think styling is working correctly here. So now we're gonna change gears here and add in the ability for the user to click a button and remove an account. And we're gonna need or want a button there, and I'm gonna want an icon in it. So let's go to our Font Awesome here, file, let's say FA times. And we need library.add FA times. So now we have an icon. Let's bring up the accounts view. So go to the template here, and what we'll do is, so inside of headings we have this label, sort of our heading there, and I'm going to give it a class of name. I'm also going to give a div below that and say a class of remove. Inside of accounts, this div that holds the name of the account is going to get that name class, and we'll put a button in here, remove, and v-on, click, prevent, we'll say remove, account.id, so we'll pass in the ID to it. It's going to contain Font Awesome icon with icon equal times. Come down to our script and create our remove method, private remove. We'll passed in the ID. From there, for now, we'll just console log the ID if we want to check to make sure it's all working. And let's do a little bit of, well, let's save it so you can see where it's at. So now we have a button down there, and we'll do some styling here. So headings and accounts, we're going to have display of flex, and I'm going to say align items center. So perfect. So that basically centers the text, the name. And we're going to come down, I guess, to the bottom here. Remove as a class. So it's hard to see now, but this remove button is slightly less in width than the plus button because the times SVG is not as wide as the plus, and that just annoys me. So on remove, we're going to set the min width to be 62, which is the size of that plus button. So we'll make it just a little bit wider there. I'm not sure that it actually made it a little bit wider there. Might be the right size now. We'll see shortly here. So accounts and .remove. So I want the remove within the accounts. So we'll say background color, and that's going to be red. So I'm already bringing in variables, yep. So we'll have a background color of red, and we'll do the same thing here. So hover, focus, what we'll say, focus, background color, we'll say darken red by 10%. And then we'll have a greater amount of contrast there, so we'll set it to be white. And we have, and by we I mean me, forgotten that we also wanted up here to say .name flex 1. So now we push the button all the way over there, and it does not appear to me. So what I forgot to do was, right now we'll have a error in the console saying unknown CSS property, or not in the console, but debug. So we need to import bidders function, save that. And now the button's just a little bit wider so that it matches the plus sign. Excuse me. So now to make things do things, we're going to come into our store folder, to our store constants. We have these constants for adding. So export const action remove accounts, and that's just action remove account. So we have the action, export const mutation, remove account, and mutation, remove account. Save that. We also need in the account types, we need to say what the payload is going to be. So what is going to be passed in. So type remove account payload, which is a number. OCD kicking in, probably should have said payload add account and payload remove account, but I'm not going to do that now. And we need then to go to the account module, do some importing in here. So let's import that action constant, that mutation, and the payload. Let's define our action now. So action remove, it's just this store iStore, destructure on the object and get commit out of it. So account context and ID is remove account payload. Actions are really simple, right? So we just need to tell it which mutation and pass along the payload. Give our comma down there and come down to the mutation now. So mutation, remove account, it'll pass us the state and the payload, which is the remove account payload. Then all we have to do is to say that the state.accounts.items is going to be state.account.items, and then we'll just filter. Oops. We'll filter on x.id not being equal to the payload. And give my little comma for TSLint complains. Back to accounts view. Didn't even check to see if the button's going to work, but we'll see here in just a second anyway. So actually, we need to do importing here. So we need the remove account. We also need the remove account payload so that we can define the action. So we have the action, which is remove. So private read only remove account, and it's going to be payload remove account payload, return nothing to us. So if everything goes well, then we should be able to come down here and just say this dot remove account and pass in the ID. Go ahead and save that, and again, crossing fingers, clicking the button removes the accounts, and we can see that in our tools here. So if we go to view, start off with our base state with two objects in it. We have received this mutation event to remove number 2, or I guess number 1 is what we've removed, and number 2 is what's left. And yeah, so now we're down to, at the last one, an array of 0 items, and then we can add back in. We'll get our mutation and have it update to bring in the action. All right, so I think that's all working here. So in this video we did a little bit of styling, mainly for our app bar and main nav, and then we finished it up now with the ability to remove an account by issuing these remove account actions, which trigger these remove account mutations. And I'm not sure what we're going to do next. We'll have to think about that. But until then, I will talk to you later. Thank you for taking the time to watch our video. I know that your time is valuable. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel and click the thumbs up button, as well as share the video with your friends. If you have any comments, questions, or suggestions, please leave them in the comments section below. And once again, thank you, and I will talk to you in the next video.